Hello and welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today we're going to take a look at CitaDAO. Now CitaDAO is a new, very interesting product or project coming into cryptocurrencies and DeFi in general. Now this is a paid or sponsored interview from the creator DAO, and you can check out the creator DAO with the link in the description if you are a creator or if you're a project looking for some marketing like this. Now I do think that this project is very interesting and very new, and I'm pretty excited about the aspect of this. However, it's still kind of in its initial phases. There's no live product yet. And I'll get into everything, but you'll kind of see this I'm kind of like giving you some alpha here about something that's coming up and an opportunity that you could maybe, get a position in this protocol. Now, it's not a pre-sale, it's not in investing, it's not VCs and all that. It's just a kind of opportunity to buy the token that when it comes out to the market for everybody. So it's kind of like a fair launch of these tokens that are going to come out. Okay, there's a lot to get through. There's no UI yet, so I'm just going to be using the website and the docs to talk about it. And so let's get right into it. So what is CitaDAO doing? They're trying to DeFi or tokenize real estate. So now why are they doing this? Now, if you think about the tokens that we currently have in DeFi and in cryptocurrencies, you have several different kinds that just off the top of my head, you have stable coins, which are backed by the fiat, right? Now, if you don't believe in the power of the fiat or the sustainability of the fiat, then maybe, holding USDT or USDC and so forth, maybe that's not a great idea, right? Now, there's a lot of cryptocurrencies that are backed by, faith, in the ability of it to go up. Like even Bitcoin itself, like Bitcoin is backed by the ability or by the faith of the people that it will hold its value and be worth something in the future. It doesn't really do anything other than that. Like the intrinsic value of cryptocurrency of Bitcoin is it's a long, I don't want to get into the aspects of like why Bitcoin is worth what it's worth, but you get the idea that it's not actually physically backed by anything and so forth. Now, I did do a video a little while ago on the standard, which is attempting to use actual gold, like real gold bullion, to back their stablecoin. So that's interesting for me too. But these ones here, they're going to tokenize real estate. So each piece of real estate is going to get a bag of tokens representing that location in the real world. Now, these locations are all going to be commercial or maybe industrial in the first phases, because they don't want to influence the price of houses on people. So they've specifically decided to stick with commercial or industrial and so forth. Now, what they're going to do, let's get into the docs here. Or let's go down through here and see if there's anything I've missed here. So this is their first piece here, their first piece of real estate that they're going to tokenize. And there are some investors, they are VC backed, and they're getting some of the governance tokens, not the real estate tokens, so to speak. And then here are some other investors and so forth. Now let's get right into the docs. So here is the process of what they call an IRO. So be careful, maybe people say initial real estate offering. This is not the case. This is not a initial token offering. This is actually them taking the real estate and tokenizing it. So introducing real estate on chain. So they're calling this an IRO or an IRO. Maybe they should call it an IREO, just to make it a little less confusing in that sense. But anyhow, whatever, that's that. So basically what they're going to do is the community and the person who has the real estate will approach the community of CitaDAO. And they're doing this kind of centralized right now, but in the future it will be the DAO. They will approach the DAO and say, hey, listen, we've got this property, we want to tokenize it. Now, why would you want to tokenize your property? Well, because then you can access the value of that in DeFi and do things with it. Like if you have a property and you wanted to you wanted to ape into some token, or you wanted to leverage it up in yield farming, or if you just wanted to maybe use that currency to buy another piece of property. Traditionally, you would have to go to the bank, you would have to go through the process of making a mortgage and doing all this kind of stuff. And that's a costly, lengthy project. But if they tokenize it, then they can just use those tokens in all kinds of DeFi Lego projects. Like maybe they can get their token listed on, Iron Bank or something, and then borrow stablecoins versus it, and they use those stablecoins to do what they want. So that's the main idea here, is that people who own these real estate, they can kind of sell off some of their real estate holdings, some of their percentage of some of the percentage of their property, and then get access to these tokens and be able to use these tokens in DeFi. So they approach the community, the DAO, and they say, hey, listen, I've got this property, I want to tokenize it. The community will, suggest like, oh, this property should probably have X amount of tokens, maybe, 100,000 tokens, or, 1 million tokens, and they're calling them RET tokens, and they are ERC20 fungible tokens. So if you hold 10 of these tokens and I hold 20 of these tokens, there's no difference between your tokens and my tokens except for the quantity and then the value of those right there, right? So how does the IRO system work? Basically, they get the community to decide how many tokens to make, and then they ask the DeFi community, the ecosystem, they say, hey, it's time to invest. So you come to the platform and you will commit some USDC. So you'll lock up some USDC in the contract, and then if the value of the fair value of the house or the property is met, then it will go to tokenization and everyone will get their piece of the tokens, the piece of that property. Now, there are some things that you could do. If you wanted to buy that property, if you actually wanted to have control over that property, then you could offer through like a mechanism inside the system to basically say, I want to buy out everybody. It says here, you have the right to buy out all other fractional holders. Here, you have the right to buy out all other fractional offers. So basically you could put in a value and then everyone would come and say, oh yes, I accept, I don't accept, I accept, I don't accept. And then if they all accept, then you can buy everyone's tokens from them and then redeem these tokens for the actual deed to the property. So you could go back the other way, right? And if they say, no, we don't want that, then they have to actually buy your tokens from you, because it's like a way to like get out of your position or take the whole building. So you have to be careful about this. There's going to be more information on this in the future, but so I'm just giving you a quick overview of this redeeming and this buying out the other holders. So after 10 days or after however many days that this initial introducing real estate on chain procedure goes through, however many days, if it doesn't get enough money to cover the value of the building, then it will fail and everybody who put USDC in this case will get their USDC refund to them. So that's basically how this IRO is going to work. However, there are some alternative, there's also some extra benefits. It's a yield farming process on top of it, because they do have a governance token. And I'm not sure if there's a name for it. It might be the CETA token. They have this governance token that allows you to vote on things and control the DAO. Basically, operate this step here, right? So when you lock up some USDC or some tokens, some stablecoins, or whatever you're planning on, whatever they're planning to accept for this particular one, then you are going to get some daily rewards. So in here, it has an example of $100,000 value of a building, and the daily reward is $1,000 of the governance CITA tokens, or whatever their tokens are called. Now, they reward people who lock first. So each day, they take a look at each day and they say, oh, how many people are here? So in this case, this person, Alice just puts $1,000, but she gets all the $1,000 of daily rewards because she's the only one who went in first, right? And then on day 2, Bob comes along and he puts in like like $99,000. So he's got way more money in here, but so he gets the lion's share of day 2, but she still gets some of it. And then she will get a small piece of all the rest because, Kara comes along and pays off the rest of the value of the house and gets the lion's share from then on out. So it's going to incentivize people who ape quick, basically, who lock up some money in the early steps. Okay. So then we do have this, like let's say it goes to the successful thing. So basically the tokens get minted for the house. They get distributed to all these fractional owners who've invested into this place. And of course, the person who owns the property can also do this as well, right? He can fractionalize, he can buy back his own thing, but he's basically trying to sell his property to these token holders, basically, right? And then then there's also the reward pool. So the rewards will also be distributed to the people or claimable. I'm not sure if it's going to be airdropped or claimable. Probably claimable, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so now we have the CitaDAO token holders or the tokenomics. You can go through this and try to read it a little bit carefully. But basically, as you can see, the team's getting some, the foundation's getting some. There's a whole bunch for liquidity rewards for like providing liquidity on maybe Uniswap, SushiSwap, and so forth. And then, for the projects and all these kinds of things. There's a lot of tokens to be given out, like 10 billion tokens. And then there's also some vesting and stuff for these people here. Now, I'm going to go back to here and talk about this one more time. So each piece of property, I'm going to be very clear here. Each piece of property gets its own IRO. Okay, so if I have the tokens that I like for my building will not be fungible with the tokens of your building. So each building will have its own real estate tokens, and they won't be fungible across different buildings, which is important. And so there is some other aspects in here where they talk about like the rent, or maybe that building is being leased or rented by some company or something like that, right? Which it likely will. Now they were thinking about using this rental to pay the holders of these RET tokens, but then this borderlines on like a security. So instead, what they're going to do is they're going to use that rental income to buy the RET token from the market to raise the price. Basically, just keep buying it off the market. So to pump the price a little bit, right? So buybacks, okay? So that pretty much covers it. This is just a quick overview. I did want to mention one last thing, is that this first one is going to be happening on the January 7th. So that's why I'm calling this kind of some alpha for you to take a look at. It's like a month away. And you can consider, if you want to do this, you can look deeper. You go into their Discord, ask some questions and so forth. I'll put a link to the Discord in the tweet that I send this out. And you can always just come here and find it as well. I'm sure there's one right here. Yep. You can just go here and read it. And you can come and read the light paper and the blogs and all this and kind of stuff. So I hope this has been useful. It's just a quick little video. And thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.